Good evening. This is YouTube News Time. Tonight, we bring you a breaking story, an urgent and important update you need to hear.
Saturday Night Live celebrated a historic milestone this weekend, 50 years to the day since the first episode of the show aired. And to mark the occasion, Amy Poehler returned to the SNL stage to host for the first time in 15 years, in a night filled with memorable sketches and special appearances. Poehler opened the show in the cold open playing Attorney General Pam Bondi, testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee. The character was combative from the start, spelling her name with an I because I ain't gonna answer any of your questions. She busted out her burn book to hurl personal insults at senators, including telling Amy Klobuchar, "Your ass out here sounding like a Pokemon," while doing everything she could to avoid answering questions about Trump's various scandals. And as expected with Poehler hosting, Tina Fey showed up. She played cabinet member Kristi Noem, forming a Mean Girls duo with Poehler. Noem dismissed the fact that the current government shutdown is the Republicans' fault, saying, "That makes me laugh more than the end of Old Yeller." Fey's caricature was particularly on point, sporting fake cosmetic surgery that was indistinguishable from the work Noem has had done. During her monologue, Poehler celebrated her new podcast, joking, "I'm a podcaster now, and if that's not a recession indicator, I don't know what is," and noted that tonight's episode marked exactly 50 years since Saturday Night Live's first episode aired. The night featured several sketches. The Rudemans presented a sitcom about a super standoffish, sarcastic family who all talk like they're a cashier at Buffalo Exchange. This was followed by a commercial for non-alcoholic beer, described as the first non-alcoholic beverage that's over 96% alcohol, allowing drinkers to get wasted while still reaping the social benefits of sobriety. Poehler shined as Miss Lycus, the fast psychic. With a hard out at 7, the clairvoyant talk show host rushed through desperate people's questions as quickly and brutally as possible, with most of her answers being some variation of "he's dead" and "drowned." This was one of the night's strongest moments, showcasing Poehler's absurdist comedy style, and the rare case where the rushed nature of a sketch was actually a plus. The show also parodied The Hunting Wives, described as the straight but lesbian, horny Republican murder drama, now in its rushed second season featuring lots of thigh squeezing and gun drawing. Aubrey Plaza, Poehler's Parks and Recreation co-star, made a guest appearance in this sketch, which gave most of the female cast a chance to bounce off one another. Another sketch featured Poehler as a pregnant corporate manager continuing to work up to and through her due date. Her water breaks during a meeting, but rather than going to the hospital, she jumps into a birthing pool in the middle of the office and, with the help of her crunchy hippie doula and supportive husband, births a fully grown businessman.
Musical guest role model performed their first song, with a surprise walk-on and quick shimmy from Charli XCX that excited the audience. Then came Weekend Update, where Colin Yost celebrated the ceasefire agreement in the Middle East while also lamenting the federal invasion of Chicago, quipping, "Only Trump could Freaky Friday Chicago and Gaza." Michael Che introduced Sarah Sherman as Rhonda Licenzo, a panicky New Yorker outraged over the likelihood of Zoran Mamdani becoming the city's next mayor. She apoplectically called him a hipster jihadist and an ISIS-trained millennial Nepo baby from Uganda, while also admitting to having detailed sexual fantasies about the Bolshevik TikToker. It turned out she's from Long Island and can't even vote in the election. Later, Yost welcomed popular returning guests Grant, played by Marcelo Hernandez, and Melissa, played by Jane Wickline, the couple you can't believe are together. The loud, dumb bro and shy, nerdy wallflower talked about their shared love of fall, the time when the trees lose their hair, their Halloween costumes of Mike Wazowski and Sylvia Plath, because it's the one day you can dress like a slut, and their annual activities. Then Poehler crashed her old stomping grounds to challenge Yost and Che to an old-fashioned joke-off, evening the odds by bringing on both of her former Update co-hosts, My First Wife and Second Wife, Tina Fey and Seth Meyers. It was a great treat for fans of Update and an appropriately star-studded moment for the golden anniversary. A sketch featured a paid advertisement for law firm Bilson and Lieberman promoting their combined 50 years of legal experience. They were suddenly interrupted by Lachlan Mulchberger, a jacked and old as hell rival lawyer who literally burst through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man to announce he has even more years of legal experience. The game of senior one-upmanship continued with elderly triplet attorneys, Bilson and Lieberman clones whose synced-up line delivery made for the best gag of the night, a law-practicing Dracula, and an ancient talking tree named Yggdrasil who once represented Zeus. Next, Poehler played a wife and mother going through a menopausal midlife crisis by dressing and acting like an angry goth teenager. Her emotional outburst over her twisted reality, raising 2 kids, taking care of her aging parents, with blurry vision, pinched nerves, and pelvic floor issues, was vintage Poehler. The night's final sketch took place during a masterclass at Juilliard, where a successful composer duo, played by Poehler and Bowen Yang, discussed the process behind their haunting instrumental themes for several acclaimed television dramas, including Severance and The Gilded Age. To the confusion of the students, their first drafts were all hokey rap songs like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which featured wildly inaccurate lyrics about the plot of the shows. Despite going out on a flat note, this was still a good episode, with expectedly strong hosting from Poehler and a number of fun cameos. While this would have made for a much better season premiere, it was the right choice to hand this historic episode over to a sure hand like Amy Poehler.